Hey, what's up you guys? This is Rob from the Gay Guy Plays, and today on The Snapshot, RNGesus has us by the balls when we take a quick look at the Chesa Kubrow and the new mods introduced in U17. So with the most recent update came a slew of new weapon-specific and movement mods. However, their drops haven't shown up in the codex yet, which means they are either mission rewards or are only available through transmutation. So I figured I'd go ahead and run a rough performance test on each. Now, as we know, U17 was only launched last week, so if there are any patches that alter these effects, I will leave an annotation, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Now, let's start with Combustion Bean. This can only be equipped on continuous fire weapons like the Galaxion, Ignis, both Quantas, and most notably the Amprex. At max rank, this will do 600 points of damage and approximately a 10-meter range around any enemy slain. Now, there are a couple things to note. Number 1, the explosions won't damage you. Number 2, the explosions deal less damage the further they are away from their target. And number 3, I haven't seen any procs go off on it, but from the enemy types I've tested it on, it does seem to be blast based. Now, while this is fun to toy around with, I don't really see this as a late game mod, as 600 damage isn't really much, even if it's paired with something like the Amprex. On that same vein, we've got Concealed Explosives, which is exclusive to thrown weapons, excluding the Kastanas. First and foremost, this shit makes you blind as fuck. The effect on it is a bit too intense for my taste. At max rank, this will have an 80% chance to do approximately 250 points of explosive damage to enemies within a 10-meter range. Now, number 1, these explosives will hurt you, so be careful, especially with fast fire rate weapons like the Hiku Prime. And number 2, the damage on this also scales with distance. Again, good low to mid-range mod, but I don't think we'll see this in high-level play. Moving on, the next on our list is Adhesive Blast. Now, you can equip this on the Tonkor, Penta, Ogress, and Torrid, but just be warned that the Ogress and the Torrid are acting a bit wonky right now. When equipped, this causes your balls to go sticky and attach themselves onto enemies and terrain. After dealing their initial impact damage, they deal 6 ticks of bonus damage in 5 seconds, then explode. The mod references dealing 60% more damage at max rank, which seems to reference the fact that each tick of damage deals approximately 10% of the weapon's explosion damage. Now, take note, if this is equipped on the Penta, you can detonate your explosives early, but regardless of what they're stuck to, they do only have a max lifetime of 5 seconds. As for the Tonkor, the same 5-second timer applies. However, if you want to detonate them early, you will have to come in contact with them personally, as they currently are not triggered by enemies stepping on them. As for the wonky-ass Ogress, the damage numbers don't seem to be quite right. The rockets attach, but they only inflict a slash proc during the duration or something. It's just fucking weird, don't use it right now. As for the Torrid, whose grenades were already sticky before, this does nothing. No bonus damage, no extra ticks of damage, or any kind of explosive burst, so just wait on a patch for this one. Now, for something a bit more subtle, we've got Covert Lethality, which doesn't insta-kill enemies, but does give daggers a 100% boost to base damage, as well as a 400% boost to stealth finishers. Note that this only applies to the single daggers category, which at the moment only includes the Dark Dagger and the Heat Dagger. You can trigger these effects using Excalibur's Radial Blind, Equinox's Rest, Ash's Teleport, or just being sneaky in general. There's not much else to say about this except yes, at the moment, this does apply its effect to Excalibur's Exalted Blade, so have fun with all of that blind-sided penetration. Now the next mod is Seismic Wave, which kinda sucks. At max rank, it deals 200% slam damage. Now don't confuse this as the AoE from jump attack damage, as it only counts direct hits. And on that note, this honestly doesn't seem to be buffing the damage at all, as a direct hit from a jump attack is listed at doing over 2.1k with my current build, and I'm definitely not seeing double that damage number being done. The last of the new weapon mods is actually a corrupted mod, which is Depleted Reload. As with all corrupted mods, this can be found in the Derelict Vaults. This will drop your magazine size by 60% and increase your reload speed by 48. Now, clearly, this was made for the Vectis Prime, as it brings you back to the single magazine and gives you bonus reload speed to boost. There's not much else to say about it other than manual reloading has never looked so sexy. Now, let's bullet jump on over to our mobility mods. Now, we are going to skip over Mobilize and Patagium, as those are boring. So let's start off with the physical mobility mods, which at max rank all grant 18% bonuses to bullet jump, aim glide, and wall latch, as well as proccing either the impact, slashing, or puncture status effect when you land on or bounce off of enemies. Note that there is a percentage chance attached to both these and the elemental movement mods, and from extensive testing I can tell you that these don't modify the damage done, which is always 150 regardless of whether you have a mod equipped or not, or the chance to proc a status, which always seems to be 100% if you have a mod equipped. The only thing that I did manage to learn is that they considered the knockdown on bullet jump to be a blast proc. The damage does scale with distance, and you can land headshots with it. So what I am saying is, at this very moment, that percentage is doing absolutely nothing. However, there will be an annotation somewhere right around here if it does happen to get patched. Now, one thing to pay attention to is the fact that they each have a unique sound and particle effect, which, let's face it, is the most important part. So I will shut up and let you take a gander. Now, as for the elemental movement mods, they give you a 24.2 bonus to bullet jump, aim glide, and wall latch, as well as proccing either the heat, cold, toxin, or electric elemental proc. And we already covered the deal with the percentage thing. If they patch it, here is the place to look. And just one last thing to note, the color on these do not match Warframe's energy color, which definitely makes my soul die a little bit inside. Okay, with that out of the way, last but not least is our newest addition to the pack, my Chesa Retriever Crispin 2.0. If you follow me on Twitter, you probably have an idea of what happened to the first one. Now, as far as base stats go, all Kubrow share the same armor and damage numbers. However, it does share the same HP and shield as my Sahasa Linden, making it one of the tankiest Kubrows of the bunch. Now, before I start on abilities, be aware that Sheldon has tweeted that buffs will be incoming later this week, so I'll most likely do a full review after those are launched. However, for now, we can take a quick look. Now, its first ability is Retrieve. At the moment, your Kubrow will pick up one item at a time, be it ammo, credit piles, energy orbs, or mods, and bring it to you, sometimes dropping it in front of you, which is too fucking adorable for me to handle. Yet also extremely inefficient. In its current state, the Chesa is definitely not going to replace your Carrier Sentinel anytime soon. Now, its second ability is Neutralize, which effectively disarms a single target. This is really nice, but let's face it, Kubrows tend to do whatever they want when they want. So while that Bombard is pelting you with rockets, he is going to be off collecting more Grakata for your ever-growing collection. So that about wraps it up for the new mods released in U17. There's also a new stance for the sword and shield that I'm sure I will be getting to later. Hopefully you're all having fun with the new content, and I will be back with more very soon. So thank you all for watching yet another snapshot. Be sure to check out my rundown on Equinox, as well as my most recent quick draw on the Cull Star. Now, don't forget to do all the things that I ask you to do at the end of every one of these, and as always, wishing you the best of luck with RNGesus, here at A Gay Guy Plays. Well. You know, I always wondered what you would look like in rose gold.